We are back with another breakdown.
We are back with another breakdown. Break it down.
Thank you so much. You were doing things today that I am so thankful for.
Guys, we're breaking down the Black Dog. We have our own Black Dog.
Yes, so cute.
Ari, this is your song. This is your Taylor Swift song. You don't even know. Now, we do need to confess something because we know that this is a fan favorite. This is just not one of my favorites on the album.
Yeah. And to be clear, the point always stands that Taylor Swift can always write a better song and a better melody than most people can.
Literally. So one of the best songs
obviously
I've ever
we're
heard.
aware that this is a deeply superior song.
Yeah.
And everything that she's saying, like the lyrics, great,
Yeah.
amazing. But it's just not,
Something doesn't fully
captivating to me. The day that we got up to react to the anthology, which was the day after we reacted to the main album, we obviously had friends who had already listened to it because we held off a bit, and one of our close friends had said that their favorite song almost from the entire album that they listened to was The Black Dog. And so I went into it from
With
the
high
very first
expectation.
listen thinking this is going to be a deeply superior song, and I feel like that opinion has kind of carried through most of the fandom.
Yeah.
My perception is that this is a song that people really love. Like,
Yeah.
you guys really love this song.
And I also remember when the voice memo came out and Taylor is playing it on the piano and she says,
Hey, so this is called Old Habits Die Screaming.
that really
Yeah,
did
that fucked
something
you
to my
up.
brain.
Yeah.
I wondered what my relationship would have been with the song if she had named it Old Habits Die Screaming. I do think The Black Dog is a better title for it with the storytelling element, and I guess there's a bit more vagueness to the song, so you can kind of apply your own value to what it is about and what is important about it. But I think her telling me that was important helped me fathom the song.
Yeah, but that's also why I'm really excited to break this song down today. Oftentimes we'll try to avoid talking too much in too much detail about certain songs because we know that we get so much out of having that conversation on camera for you guys. So maybe
today's the
something will
day.
click today.
I am someone who until recent events you shared your secrets with, and your location you forgot to turn it off. And so I watch as you walk into some bar called the Black Dog and pierce new holes in my heart. You forgot to turn it off, and it hits me.
Wow, the chorus really starts right in between a sentence.
Wow, I've never thought about that before
Yeah.
because and it hits me, I just don't understand. I would think is the end of
Yes,
the verse or
and then
maybe the pre-chorus and then it goes, how you don't miss me
No.
is the chorus.
I
Maybe not.
also understand because that is one whole sentence. I just don't understand how you don't miss me at the Black Dog. So I can
Yeah.
understand how that's actually the appropriate spot to section.
Yeah.
And then also, and then it hits me is the end of the verse, which is that realization.
Yeah, totally.
Wow. Yeah, I guess sonically it's not obvious.
Who produced this song? I forget.
It's Aaron. No,
This
it's not. No, it's not. It's Jack.
Okay.
Of course,
It's
no.
a Jack song.
This is Jack.
But it's a self-written Taylor
It
song.
is.
It's always really special when Taylor writes a song by herself. Like, I do think it's hard to not let those songs sort of hit you a little bit harder because you know that she's just sort of probably just been sitting there in her own space
Yeah.
by herself. And
Completely come to her.
yeah, and I
Yeah.
think just like even just envisioning what that process would be like for her and how she lets these feelings and these words sort of flow out of her, that's a different energy compared to imagining her in the studio with Jack or with Aaron and like kind of nutting it out together.
Totally.
So that's
There's
really
actually
fascinating.
really quite a lot of self-written songs on this album, just as a little refresher. My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys,
Yeah.
Who's Afraid of Little Old Me,
Yeah.
The Black Dog,
Yeah.
Peter, and The Manuscript.
Yeah.
It's just 5 self-written songs.
This is actually such an interestingly structured verse. Everything is just sort of one sentence, and I think that she's not actually ending each line with the obvious word. She kind of continues it in the next line.
She does.
And-
Yeah, the melody shifting halfway through that. It's like, I am someone who, until recent events you shared your secrets
with and your location, you forgot to turn it off.
So it does make it feel quite disjointed.
Yeah.
But I think that that's purposeful for what the feeling is in the song.
I think so too. I also do really love how she, like, just the melody where she sort of rounds off each part of the verse, like, and your location, you forgot to turn it off.
Yeah.
I do like that little bit there. I think that that's really nice.
Even the way she's chosen to word that though, because it's very conversational and almost very not thought out, I feel, like in the way that it's meant to come across, because it's like she could have just said shared your secrets with and you forgot to turn your location off, but she says and your location you forgot to turn it off. Like it's just popping into her head, and your location you forgot to turn it off. Like the way she's structured that sentence is actually so emotive and organic, and it's not just like, I don't know, it's not the obvious way to deliver those lines.
Yeah, so true. And then it's just interesting, again, like how this is all just one flowing sentence. You forgot to turn it off. And so I watch as you walk into some bar called the Black Dog and pierce new holes in my heart. You forgot to turn it off.
Which she's repeating there, it's an interesting way of kind of reiterating that she's really stuck on that you forgot to turn it off. So I guess what I take from this is that she's talking about how she was very close with this person until very recently she shared her secrets with them and their location on Find My Friends, I guess.
Yeah.
And she's watching them on Find My Friends walk into a bar called the Black Dog, which pierces a hole in her heart because
they have memories there together.
Yeah, you know, something I've always not really understood about this song is why she says into some bar, if it is a bar that they frequented together.
That's a good point.
Because I've always gotten the impression from that line that it's like you just walked into some bar called the Black Dog, like whatever, like it's just a bar. But then
yeah, I think that maybe I think that without thinking about it too deeply, I've sort of just assumed that maybe that it's the fact that they frequented it together that pierces the new holes in her heart. But it actually may not be that at all. It could just be the fact that she's seeing this person move on, go and do things without her, and how she knows that in every move she makes in her life right now, she's thinking about them and still wishing they were there.
Yeah, I actually think when I think about it, I don't think that they frequented this bar together. I think she's watching him go in there and it pierces a hole in her heart because she's seeing him going to a new place that without her, and then that sends her spiraling. How do you not miss me there? Like, how do you not miss me? And then she's actually
because it's also kind of like, how do you not miss me anywhere?
How do you not miss me anywhere? Yeah. And I guess that's the point of it, is like maybe it's not even about the specific experience that they had, but she could be fabricating that whole chorus being like, how do you not miss me in the Black Dog when this happens and when this happens and when this happens? It doesn't really matter actually what's happening. It just matters that she's not there and she's not experiencing it with them.
I just kind of want to go back to what you were saying before about her repetition of you forgot to turn it off, because I do think that it could just be her reiterating the fact that he's forgotten to turn his location off. But I think the fact that that comes after and pierce new holes in my heart, I think it could also just be taken like, it's like you forgot to turn off like my feelings for you. Like almost like even though we know that that's not something a human can do, it's like she's in so much pain not having this person around that it's like you want to put that blame on someone. It's like you literally forgot to turn off the way in which you hurt me.
Yeah.
And it continues to hurt me, and fuck you, like you're the result of that.
Totally. I think it could all be metaphorical for that. This location being left on to her is a bit of a metaphor for their feelings and how connected she still feels to him, because it doesn't feel like it's really ended or that it's really actually over. She hasn't gotten that closure, which we obviously know throughout so many other songs that she never really got.
Yeah.
So I think that could definitely act as that double meaning. But I think the repetition of that line there also comes in quite devastating. It feels like repeating that is like, you forgot to turn it off. Like, it feels really upsetting that she's kind of hung up on that.
I think it could also kind of just link in with the fact that she starts by saying, I am someone who until recent events you shared your secrets with.
Yeah.
It's kind of a continuation of that thought in the sense that it's like, if you've stopped sharing your secrets with me, you should have also stopped sharing your location with me, but you haven't.
Yeah.
And that's weird right now because that's not the phase of our relationship that we're in. You should be not sharing anything with me, and yet I can still see where you are.
Well, it's almost interesting as well because it feels like this relationship, I mean, I think I take this to be about Maddie, but I think it's one of those up in the air songs.
Yeah.
If it is about that relationship, he obviously almost doesn't ever really want to fully cut her off. Like, he kind of wants to keep her hanging, like almost like wants her to think that she has a little bit of a chance still, because I think he's never fully decided if he's done with her or not.
And so maybe she feels a bit like this is intentional. You've forgotten.
Yeah.
She's saying you forgot to turn it off, but the repetition of that could also kind of be like, I don't know if I think you did forget to turn it off.
Well, it reminds me of when she's like, put me back on my shelf, and then pull, like, and then, you know, or even just say when I play again, like in My Boy and the Breaks His Favorite Toys, like that is like, she's kind of expecting him to call her out again.
Anyway, I love how she rounds out that verse with, and it hits me, and then going into the I just don't understand, because it's going to hit her most in that moment. The fact that he's out doing something, he's probably socializing, he's with friends, he's having a drink at this bar called the Black Dog, and she's at home like, I miss you so much. How can you be going out doing something without me and just being okay with that?
Yeah. It's interesting that this song, kind of similarly to Chloe or Sam, Sophia or Marcus, is starting with like something's happening, like a thought's happening or an action's happening, and then it sends her into this spiral. It
is a bit of a spiral, isn't it?
Yeah, those first few lyrics set us up for what's actually happening, and then the rest of the song is her completely spiraling.
So true.
About that, which is deeply relatable, and I think a lot of people feel seen with this song in that way, because I think that Find My Friends and sharing your location with someone is such an intimate experience, and it feels almost illegal to be able to see where someone is and what they're doing when you're not talking to them anymore. Yeah. It's a lot. It's actually a lot.
Yeah. It is a lot. So true.
Oh my God, it allows you to create so many images and stories in your head, which I actually, thinking about it now, I do think that maybe that's what the chorus is her putting together the pieces of what is happening in the bar.
How you don't miss me in the Black Dog when someone plays the starting line and you jump up, but she's too young to know this song that was intertwined in the magic fabric of our treatment. Old habits die.
Oh my God, that is the best part of the song in my opinion.
It is.
That
it is.
Emotional build up to that scream, and the way that the production builds, and then it echoes off almost like she's like, it's falling off a cliff or something.
That
like,
is
I
so
love that feeling.
True. It does sound like it's falling off a cliff. Yeah, I think that you're completely right with what you said before. It's kind of like it's the thought process of what he might be doing at the bar. It's more of an imaginary thing than it is actually what he's doing. However, I do think that it is tied into reality because of the starting line stuff, and I think that that's really interesting when you think about the fact that she's spiraling, because of course the things that she's going to cling to are, what if you're doing things that were our thing to do or remind you of me and you're just okay with it? Like, that's
totally
scarier than you just living your life and doing something that was completely removed from what we would do.
You're right. I think she's taking something that they have an emotional connection over, which is this band, and she's imagining the worst case scenario.
Yes.
Where they start playing and the girl that he's with doesn't know them. She can't jump up and join in the way that Taylor could, because that would be them connecting in that moment.
Yes.
And she's like, she's not doing that the way I would do that. So why would you want to be there without me? Because obviously if I was there, It's actually really quite funny and clever and interesting, very interesting, very organic thought process, which actually makes so much sense that it's a self-written song. You can tell that there's no influence in this because it's so true and vulnerable to her own thought process.
It's like she's sitting alone in a room and she's letting her actual spiraling be let out on paper.
Yeah. I think I've maybe taken this song too literally this whole time, which is maybe what stopped me from fully connecting with it, because I've tried to understand exactly why she's written these specific lyrics.
But it's actually not about that. It's about how you would interpret it in your own way if you were imagining someone that you've just moved on from. She's kind of got everything in here when it comes to what you would spiral about. I'll read the lyrics. She says, I just don't understand how you don't miss me in the Black Dog when someone plays the starting line and you jump up, but she's too young to know this song that was intertwined in the magic fabric of our dreaming. Old habits die screaming. She's got going to a bar, which is you drinking, maybe you are going on a date. Yeah. She's got the other girl character in here with she's too young to know this song. So she's immediately, for all we know, he's going into this bar by himself. Yeah. But immediately her mind goes to, you're on a fucking date with a girl who's younger than me, which might even be an insecurity that she's tapping into to some extent too. Maybe she's younger, she's prettier, she's more youthful, she's not as old as me or whatever.
Yeah, it actually made me think of the lyric, some internet starlet.
Yes. And I think then linking it in, like, you could be on a date with a girl who's everything I'm not, and you could be maybe listening to a song that was so important to our relationship or a band that was so important to our relationship, and you're behaving like it was nothing.
Yeah, you're still functioning.
Like you're actually fine without me being there.
She's so unhinged. Yeah, she is. Wow. Oh my God. Yeah. I've never thought about how like it's very specific to their connection and relationship. But like I can totally see how if you connecting with this song, like you'd have your own individual things. Like I'm thinking about like if with my ex-boyfriend, a specific thing or topic that we talked about. Like
Or like if you still had them on Find My Friends, like, and you did see them out somewhere, like you would be even if you'd never been to the venue that they're at, you'd be like, how?
And are you talking about that and not missing me? Like, how could you even be doing that and not be having a breakdown? Because I'm having a breakdown at the thought of you doing that.
Yeah.
Wow. That's so fascinating. Genius also says here that the starting line is an emo band from the 2000s. They are best known for their song The Best of Me, which Maddie Healy has briefly covered on stage before saying shout out to people in their 30s.
If you have a connection to one of those early 2000s emo bands, you're probably pushing 30 at this point as well. So like,
totally.
You know what I mean? Like we grew up in that era and we're in our 30s.
Oh my God, yeah. And that's why that connects to her saying like she's too young
to know it.
I think it also just nods to the fact that like he is moving on with people that are not like her, because like she almost knows that what they had was too real and too intense for him to handle, and therefore his next relationships will be more surface level. They'll be with people that don't make him feel that. Kind of like what she says is, again, in My Boy Only Breaks His Favorite Toys, like, I knew too much. There was danger in the heat of my touch. Like,
yeah, it even reminds me of In the Smallest Man when she said, you said normal girls were boring, but you were gone by the morning. It's like it's like I know that I threatened you so much that that's exactly who you would go for next time, even though you tried to claim to me that like that's not your type. But it is though, because you're not willing to get as deep as you could have gotten with me.
Oh God, there's actually just so much. There is so much emotion wrapped up in this, and so much complexity. And I do really understand how people feel so seen with this song, and because how unique it is.
It is relatable in that way. Like I think that we've all kind of been there in those days and weeks after a breakup. I think it's also really important to like make the connection between her bringing up the starting line here and how she says in Fresh Out the Slammer, now we're at the starting line. I did my time. It's an intentional nod to who I'm getting into a relationship with, and how the starting line as a band, as a phrase, is intertwined in the magic fabric of our dreaming. And so of course she's going to make a nod to that elsewhere when it comes to us, like, you know, rekindling things and actually getting this going.
saying intertwined in the magic fabric of our dreaming is such a concerning lyric. They have had the idea of them swirling around for almost a decade, and in that time they've been able to dream up what actually being together would be like.
That's so true, yeah.
And music has been a big part of that, and a big part of how they've connected. So saying it was entwined in the fabric, the foundation of their dreaming, it allowed them to connect and to dream to be together one day is so fucked up. And it also makes me think of Guilty as Sin, because, you know, at the first line is like drowning in the blue Nile, like he sent me downtown lights, like them connecting over that music again.
Intertwined in the magic fabric of our dreaming is such a poetic way to say that, because I think that it's also relatable in whatever it might have been that you and another person like bonded over in the early phases of a relationship, or maybe when you were just friends before it turned romantic or something like that. Like those building blocks of a connection with somebody, they are the fabric of what your future could be together.
Yeah. It's a very strong line to come after those storytelling kind of imaginating lyrics, really saying a lot there.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of weight to that. And then wrapping it up with Old Habits Die Screaming really captures the pain of letting go, of thinking about this person, of expecting to do things with this person.
I feel like this is one of those lyrics that there's been like a bit of a discussion around like what the habit is that she's referring to, and the way that I do take it is like it's him and this relationship with him. It's like it's the fact that now that they've actually given it a real shot and it didn't work out, she actually for the first time has to let go of the ideas, the dreaming that she had with this person that she kind of dreamt about for many years, it would seem. And that is an old habit.
It is.
You know, when she's always got a person that she kind of thinks that, you know, if all else goes to shit, if I can't make it in a relationship, like I know I've got them. Like I know we will end up
One
together
day.
someday or whatever it is. Like when you have to finally let that go, that's really fucking hard to do. I know some people have kind of taken it as though she is the old habit and that's why she's screaming when she says screaming, like, but I don't get that personally.
Yeah.
I think it's just him and the fact that she literally needs to cut herself clean from this person, which she has not done for up to 10 years.
I agree, and I think it is him, but I think on a more surface level, it also could be the habit of checking Find My Friends.
Yes.
So like
true.
that one habit has spiraled into all of these other habits as well, and the habit of him, the habit of feeling like that
So
close
true.
with him.
So true. And yeah, and then I guess like off the back of that, even like it could even just be these thought processes are a habit of hers, this spiraling and letting herself get to that place where she's imagining him going on a date with a new girl or listening to a band that meant so much to them, and now all of a sudden it means nothing to him. Like she's almost hurting herself in letting herself get carried away with these thoughts. But it is a habit. I think we can become obsessive about people, both in the build up to being with them, but also in the breakdown of being with them. And what they're doing and what's their life like without me now, and all of those things. And that obsession with somebody as you're learning to let go is a habit in and of itself that's hard to break.
So true. Oh my God, I actually am fathoming some things.
Yeah, actually so am I.
I hadn't fully fathomed how much of a complete spiral it is. A complete spiral.
Obviously we have a song like Guilty as Sin where she says like, you know, in the hedge maze, like it's like caught in her mind. But then also like if you consider the fact that Labyrinth could be about Maddie Healy, this idea of getting caught up in your mind about things like maybe more than once seems to be linked to the idea of him.
And that is that habit.
Yeah.
And I guess creating a dream around him, you know, allowing herself to dream of him.
I move through the world with a heart broken. My longings stay unspoken, and I may never open up the way I did for you. And all of those best laid plans, you said I needed a brave man, then proceeded to play him until I believed it too.
Wow, this time it's not hitting her, it's killing her.
It's killing her. It's kind of a lot.
No, she's actually really saying quite a lot in these second verse.
Yeah, she is.
Actually, I think a lot of links back into other songs as well. I move through the world with a heart broken. I can do it with a broken heart. Mm-hmm. My longings
it's
stay
actually
unspoken.
the heartbroken.
Yeah, sorry.
Like with other heartbroken people. I move through the world with the heartbroken. But definitely I can do it with a broken heart,
I move through the world with the heart broken. My longings stay unspoken. It was a bit of a secret.
I keep these longings locked.
Yeah, I keep these longings locked.
In lowercase inside a vault. What's also interesting about it is that you could also take it as though they're just unspoken to him. Like this was over so quickly that there are things that I didn't actually get to say to you because we were only together for like, you know, a few weeks really. And now that opportunity's come and gone. I can't say that to you directly anymore.
Yeah, it's quite devastating. And I may never open up the way I did for you. I think that that's just a really sad lyric. Even just acknowledging the vulnerability it was to let him in and to give them a chance. And all of those best laid plans. You said I needed a brave man, then proceeded to play him until I believed it too. We know that she felt from other songs like he was like, Mr. Steal Your Girl, then make her cry.
Yeah, I think it can also speak to how many times on this album she's brought up the fact that he had alluded to marriage and children and then kind of ripped that away from her, which is so evident in LOML and I guess The Smallest Man. And I think that she's kind of even alluding to The Smallest Man here, where you played the brave man until I believed it, but you never were. No. It was all an illusion. Smallest man who ever lived.
Yes.
And then so for her to change that lyric from it hits me to it kills me, I think is really profound in this verse because we're dealing with the fact that she was lied to and manipulated and maybe gaslit into believing that she was about to have this fairy tale ending that she always wanted and it was gone as quickly as it began.
Yes.
It's a lot. She's really saying a lot here.
She's really saying a lot.
Really saying a lot.
And then she has a change in the second chorus.
Yes, she does.
How you don't miss me in the shower and remember how my rain-soaked body was shaking. Do you hate me? Was it hazing for a cruel fraternity I pledged and I still mean it?
I actually just don't think I know what she's saying in the second
Neither
chorus.
do I.
Oh
what
my
the
God.
fuck do you mean?
What is she saying?
Was it hazing for a cruel fraternity? What the fuck even is that lyric, bitch? I don't get it.
We need to deeply cut that.
We do. I just don't understand how you don't miss me in the shower and remember how my rain-soaked body was shaking. Do you hate me?
I've always struggled with this lyric because I'm like, is this recalling a particular moment or memory where they're in the shower and they were having an argument or something? Why is she shaking?
Or is it that she's thinking that when you're in the shower, do you have flashbacks to the time that I was rain-soaked, like saying something to you in the middle of the rain because a shower feels like rain or something? Either this verse describes her ex's recollection while showering of their prolonged breakup somewhere outdoors.
Okay, you're right. Yeah.
Where she was vulnerable and shaking from the cold of the rain outside.
Yeah.
Or her ex is remembering the two of them together in the shower where, unless it was a cold shower, the shaking was an effect of certain joint activities. It's... That did cross my mind. Is the shaking pleasurable?
Yeah. But why is she following it with "Do you hate me"?
Or maybe if that's what it is, like it's a very good memory, is it that in juxtaposition to today? It's like, do you hate me now?
Yeah, no,
Kind
you
of.
know what? It could be sexual. In the shower, and remember how my rain-soaked body was shaking, and then
Do you hate me?
change the subject. Do you hate me?
Yeah, do you hate me
Because
now?
you don't miss me
Yeah.
in the shower.
Yeah, so maybe you hate me
So
now.
maybe you hate me.
Yeah.
Wow.
Can I just say as well about this next lyric, was it hazing for a cruel fraternity? What the literal fuck does that even mean? The Genius annotation starts with, here Taylor metaphorically compares her past relationship to a hazing ritual in a fraternity, suggesting that they endured emotional trials or hardships akin to those experienced during hazing. This is too American.
Hazing?
This is too American for me. What is hazing in a fraternity? I'm actually ill. That doesn't make any sense.
This metaphor highlights her perception of her past relationship as challenging or difficult, possibly characterized by emotional manipulation or mistreatment. Is she... was it hazing?
Wait, hazing refers to any activity expected of someone in joining or participating in a group that humiliates, degrades, abuses, or endangers them. So maybe to get into a fraternity in like college or something, boys have to go through a hazing ritual where they're kind of embarrassed to prove that they can make it through.
And is that what she's saying their relationship was like? Like going through a hazing?
Was it hazing for a cruel fraternity?
I pledged, and I still mean it.
Because she pledged to stay in the fraternity or whatever. No, hold on. Wait. I think I just clicked. Something's just clicked. I think something just clicked. Maybe what she's saying in all those lines before that is a negative experience they had. Remember how my rain-soaked body was shaking? Do you hate me? Like, you did something really fucked up.
Me.
Like you said, like maybe a really big fight in the rain really hurt me. You made me feel like you hated me. Was that hazing for... Were you just testing me to see if our relationship would actually stand the test of time?
Yes, and
is that what she's saying?
And then like what Genius said before about how she's looking back on these romanticized kind of memories of them maybe fighting and getting back together, and she's reflecting on it being like, do you hate me? Was it hazing? Like...
Yeah, maybe you never loved me. Maybe you just hated me and wanted to humiliate me rather than it being like you actually did really love me and you just wanted to test our endurance in this relationship.
I feel like these lyrics that was it hazing for a cruel fraternity has a similar spite behind it as in the bridge of Smallest Man That Ever Lived, where she's like, were you sent by someone who wanted me dead? Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Were you fucking with me this whole time?
Were you actually fucking with me this hard?
Was it all a lie?
Yeah.
Yeah, was it totally? Yeah. It's like, yes.
It has that energy behind it. Like, was it hazing for a cruel fraternity that I pledged and I still mean it? You know, that's actually even more devastating, because I think that she's saying there, like, even
if it was hazing for a cruel fraternity, in that moment, I pledged to that. I pledged myself to you.
And I still mean it.
I still mean it. I'm still in love with you. I still love the idea of being with you after all this time. So the old habit is still dying screaming.
And I think we also need to comment on the fact that the traditional saying is old habits die hard.
Yeah.
So she's kind of taking that already very famous saying. We all know that. Old habits die hard. Like, it's hard to break a habit. It's hard to stop. But in this case, it's not just hard. Like, I'm screaming.
6 weeks of breathing clean air. I still miss the smoke. Were you making fun of me with some esoteric joke? Now I wanna sell my house and set fire to all my clothes and hire a priest to come and exorcise my demons. Even if I die screaming, and I hope you
I do really like this bridge. For me, this might be one of my favorite parts of the song.
I agree. I think that this bridge and then leading into that last chorus is deeply superior.
Deeply superior. 6 weeks of breathing clean air. I still miss the smoke.
I love how like clear the production is here, like how stripped back it is, because it feels empty. It feels like what she feels like.
Yeah.
The clean air. Like, And I think that The Smoke is an interesting lyric because of lyrics like, I can fix him.
Yeah.
She's like, you know, the smoke cloud billows. He is a smoker.
Yeah.
And I think that that is what she's referring to here. Like, she misses his smoke.
Even though the air is clean
Even
now,
though it's
I
clean.
miss. Yeah, because it reminds me of you. It's you.
Also just realised as I was editing this that this lyric reminds me of the Daylight lyric, clearing the air I breathed in the smoke, which is interesting. Maybe it's a link.
I also like that she's kind of giving us the context of where in the breakup they are here. It's only been 6 weeks.
Were you making fun of me with some esoteric joke?
Was all of this just a joke at my expense that I didn't understand? It says here, if something is described as esoteric, it is usually only understood by people of a specific special interest, not commonplace. So yeah, it's
Totally.
like, I wasn't in on the joke.
Yeah, I wasn't in on the joke. Yeah. So she feels completely on the outside, completely locked out of understanding what his thought process was. It's actually a really clever way of saying that.
It is. It really is. I love these next lines. Now I want to sell my house and set fire to all my clothes and hire a priest to come and exorcise my demons. I think that these lines really speak to sort of what we said at the beginning of this video, with this song just being about how someone can just be in everything. Every aspect of your life, every little thing in it reminds you of that person, and the only way that she can think to get him out of her system is like starting from scratch. Burn the house down, burn the clothes.
Lose all the evidence.
I just don't want anything. I don't want any attachments. I don't want any belongings any longer, because everything reminds me of you, and the only way I could ever get some peace is if I was just rid of everything.
Yeah. I did always think that those two lyrics did allude to me more of like a long-term relationship, because I think when you've been with someone for years, you do feel like every single thing you own and everything that you have created in your life links to them a little bit more. So that did surprise me, but I still can understand why she's feeling that way.
I agree. I think that that's how I initially took it as well, when I was still feeling more confused.
I think we just hadn't fully fathomed her depth of feeling for him. And hire a priest to come and exorcise my demons. I mean, she's literally feels like these habits and the way of feeling about him is a demon that needs to be extracted from her in order to move on. Even if she dies while it's happening, even if she dies screaming, like, it's not just the old habit dying screaming, maybe she will die.
Yeah.
And I think that that's an interesting shift and progression.
Yeah.
In the
well,
lyrics.
I think that that's also maybe where I've seen some people think that she's saying that she is the whole old habit because she switches this lyric here.
Yeah. I do like that double meaning.
Yeah. She is also a habit of his.
I agree. And like,
in a way,
with the toy thing, like if she's one of his toys, she's also a habit.
Yeah. I love that she ends this with, and I hope you hear it. Because it's like, again, this pain is so big and so intense. I hope you hear that you've killed me.
You've killed me. It's a lot, actually.
Yeah, it is a lot.
Also, maybe she's referring to this song. She hopes he hears this song. I think that the build of that into this next chorus is the best part of the song, because it just has so much anger and so much frustration, and I kind of like that she feels free enough in this song to then turn this next chorus into, I hope it's shitty at the Black Dog. Like, it's so,
it turns a bit petty.
It's petty, and it's like, but it's real, and like that's how you, like, at the end of the day, it's just like, fuck you, I hope it's shitty. Whatever you're doing, I hope it's shitty.
Totally.
Yes, that feeling was so necessary.
She's too young to know this song that was intertwined in the tragic fabric of our dreaming. 'Cause tail between your legs, you're leaving. I still can't believe it, 'cause old habits die, scream.
Oh, that breath at the end.
She's not even screaming anymore. It's like she just is dead there. And that lyric change at the end of the chorus, intertwined in the tragic fabric of our dreaming, which I think is a really important shift here with this kind of anger in the production and how she's singing and stuff at the end here, because at the end of the day, it's not magic anymore.
No.
There is no magic left. It's just tragic, because I thought it was going to be something so amazing and it just simply wasn't.
Yeah.
And then because
the reality of it.
Between your legs, you're leaving is also deeply giving smallest man who ever lived.
Man, yes.
But it's also interesting because this is the black dog. And
yes.
tail between your legs is kind of a dog thing.
Yeah, absolutely. Very
So
interesting.
I do really like that.
I think it's the coward lyric and it's in LOML. Howard.
Yeah, the coward claimed he was a lion.
Yes.
Yeah.
And tail between your leg, you're leaving.
Yes.
Tail between your legs, you're leaving. Oh my god, you were so scared.
Yeah.
You were so scared of what this relationship could be.
And you couldn't even actually have an honest conversation with me about why this hasn't worked out. I think that that's really evident in the fact that she has told us on this album that he essentially ghosted her.
Yeah.
You didn't actually explain the change in your feelings to me. You just left. You didn't even have the guts to tell me why. Ew!
The phrase tail between your legs typically means leaving a situation feeling ashamed, defeated, or humiliated. In the context of this song, could suggest that the person leaving is doing so with a sense of feeling small because of how things turned out, smallest man that ever lived. But also it says here the imagery can be metaphorically linked to a black dog, like you said, but also bringing up this point, symbolizing depression or a feeling of heaviness and darkness that can be accompanied by a bad relationship or a difficult situation, capturing the bittersweet nature of reminiscing about a past relationship. Which is something that we haven't touched on, about how that the black dog can have that double meaning of depression, which a lot of us thought the song was going to be about that.
That's so
I think
true.
Maybe that also led to like the complexity of understanding this song. There's like a lot that you can take from the black dog.
Totally.
Wow.
There was actually a lot fathomed there.
Yes.
There was a lot fathomed there.
A lot fathomed there. I
it's-
think I'm going to have a moment with this song.
I do think that it is such an interesting album in how long it is. Like, I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of you guys even feel like there's still some songs on this album that you haven't fully been able to have a moment with because, oh my god, this is simply just going to take us so long to fathom the entire thing, inside out, back to front.
And depending on your own experiences, you're obviously going to be more guided towards certain songs that initially hit you hard, and then other ones might take you a little bit longer to hit because you might not have had that experience before.
Yeah.
If this is one of your favorite songs, if you're a stan of the Black Dog, please let us know what your feelings are about it down below and kind of like what your fathomings have been. That's all from us.
That was a lot.
Yeah.
That was a lot. I'm really just like, wow. I'm in the fathomings.
Yeah.
I'm in the fathomings.
Same.
We love you. And we will see you soon for another video. Bye.